Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, That Model Railway Guy, and welcome to a quick little video as part of Hornby's Mind the Gap event for World Mental Health Day. I think it's fair to say that this past year or so has been a challenge for all of us, but one of the good things to come from it has been to see how many people have started taking an interest in model railways and have also returned to the hobby after a bit of a break. For some people, it is just a fun way to pass the time, a bit of a hobby. For others, it's a way to escape the real world for a bit and a chance to create your own. But one question I do see crop up in the comments on my videos every so often is, what advice would you give for somebody just starting out? And I don't claim to be any kind of expert, but the advice I give is always the same, which is just give it a go. Just start, because once you get the ball rolling, that's the hard part over. Some of us can spend days, weeks, months, years even, planning out layouts in our head, but never getting round to building them for a variety of reasons. And believe me, I absolutely used to be one of those people. But in reality, what we should just do is stick some track on a board and run some trains and have fun. That is what model railways is about, after all, having fun. It may not be the best looking layout in the world to start off with, but it's a start. It's something that we can build and grow. So today I'm going to show you a very basic layout I built a couple of years ago called Pickwick Yard, and I'm going to go through the various components that bring the layout to life. It's actually very, very loosely based on a layout that I saw in this book ages and ages ago. And so hopefully if you're interested in building your own model railway at some point, this video will inspire you and give you some ideas for the future, as well as making you realise that you can have a lot of fun while keeping things simple. So let's take a look, shall we? So this is the bare bones of Pickwick Yard. You can see it's a compact shunting layout, but despite the small size, you'd be amazed at how much fun you can get out of something simple like this. The baseboard is nothing special, it's just an old MDF shelf which was no longer being used. Usually for a model railway, it's a good idea to make a proper baseboard, but if you want to get up and running quickly, something like this will work just as well. Over this, I've then glued down a ballast mat just to give the whole area a scenic covering. The track has then been nailed down on top of this, and it's just Hornby set track which clips together really easily. This track was actually recycled off an old layout, and despite it being a few decades old at this point, it's still going strong. The next section to look at is the back scene, and again we can keep things simple here. In reality, this is just a couple of old laminate floorboards that have been joined together and then painted blue to represent the sky. Then over the top of this, I stuck down some images of buildings. There are companies out there who sell back scene elements like the ones I've used, or alternatively you could take your own pictures of buildings to print out and use yourself. With the back scene in position, let's now get some buildings in place. For this, I've predominantly used card kits, which aren't too expensive and are nice and easy to make up. Alternatively, there are ready-made buildings out there that you can buy, for example from the Hornby Scaledale range. This layout is going to have a bit of an industrial theme, so I've mainly gone for factory-style buildings. You can see I've also put them in front of the track that's at the back of the layout, and this creates a hidden siding so that the trains can disappear off behind the buildings. If you're feeling ambitious, you can also build your own structures from scratch, like I did with this bridge. Now, I'm not very good at scratch building, but I think this is just about passable, and it's mostly made from cardboard and moulded plastic brick sheets. With the signal box in place so we can have a signalman to control the points, the layout is starting to come alive. At this point we can just add a few extra details to bring the scene together. For example, you could add some signals like I have here, or attach some buffers to the ends of the sidings. If you have any spare rails left over, you could also paint these in a rusty colour and leave them by the side of the track as if they'd been removed. One thing I decided to do to hide the join between the baseboard and the back scene a bit more was to have a fence running along the back. Believe it or not, I made this fence out of sandwich bag ties, painted brown with some green flock along the bottom to represent weeds. When it's in place, it really looks the part and it hides that join nicely. So now with the layout complete, it's time to run some trains. So hopefully you can see it's not really difficult to get a small simple layout up and running fairly quickly. It can seem a bit overwhelming at first, but when you break things down step by step, it becomes a lot more manageable. Now, I know this isn't the world's best looking layout, but when you're just starting out, I do think it's better to go with something simple to begin with. Once you're at this stage and actually running trains, I find it inspires you to improve the bits that you think could be better. So if you've been putting off building a layout because you think it's too complicated or it'll take too long, I'd really encourage you to just make a start. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece as long as you're happy with it, and most of all if you're having fun. After all, that's what model railways are all about. So hopefully this video has given you some ideas, but that's going to be it for this time. If you haven't already, please do check out Hornby's Mind the Gap event, but that's it from me, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!